Imagine living in a world where the Bible was locked away from you, written in a language you couldn't understand and controlled by an elite few. Now imagine someone risking everything to break that barrier, only to pay the ultimate price. This is the story of John Wycliffe, the man who dared to defy the church and change history forever. In the 14th century, John Wycliffe was a priest, scholar, and professor at Oxford University. But he wasn't just any priest. He had a radical idea that the Bible should be available to everyone, not just the clergy. At the time, the Bible was only written in Latin, the language of the elite. The common people couldn't read it, let alone understand it. They had to rely on priests to tell them what it said, or what the church wanted them to believe. Wycliffe believed that the Word of God was meant for everyone, not just the powerful few. So he did the unthinkable. He began translating the Bible into English. But this was no simple task. Each page was painstakingly copied by hand, and every word brought him closer to danger. Wycliffe's work didn't go unnoticed. To the church, this was an act of rebellion. Translating the Bible into English was seen as an attack on their authority, a threat to the very foundation of their power, and they were willing to do whatever it took to stop him. Wycliffe's translation was revolutionary. For the first time, ordinary people could hear the Word of God in their own tongue. But this wasn't just about religion, it was about power. Wycliffe was giving the people the tools to think for themselves, to question the church, and to seek their own relationship with God. The church labeled Wycliffe a heretic. They couldn't allow his ideas to spread. He was excommunicated. His followers, called the Lollards, were hunted down, and his teachings were banned. In 1384, Wycliffe died of a stroke, but even in death, the church's hatred for him didn't end. Decades later, in 1428, they exhumed his body, burned his remains, and scattered the ashes in the River Swift, a final, symbolic act to erase him from history. But they failed. Wycliffe's legacy couldn't be destroyed. His translations survived, smuggled in secret, whispered among the faithful. And his work laid the foundation for future reformers like Martin Luther and William Tyndale, who would carry the torch of his revolution. He defied the most powerful institution of his time to bring light to the world. The question is, would you have done the same? If this story inspired you, subscribe for more untold histories and leave a comment. What would you risk for the truth?